Good afternoon. My name is Emma Young. I am president of the Cape Elizabeth High School class of 2024, and my advice to you is to fail. I was told by Mr. Springer to give a farewell address, but I've decided that I'm going to deliver a fail-well address. When I first moved to Cape Elizabeth in 4th grade, I noticed two things. One, you're supposed to bring snow pants and snow boots to school. And two, Cape Elizabeth is very success-oriented. Our high school outperforms just about every other high school in the state, academically, athletically, and in extracurriculars. On a school EF trip to France, Italy, and Switzerland last summer, my dad, as trip leader, gave the group a pep talk on our way to the airport for what would be a very close flight to catch. And he ended it with, "We're Cape students, all we do is win." We did make that flight, by the way, thanks to the fact that we strategically placed the cross-country runners in the back of the security line. I was one of them. And it's true. Not to toot our own horn, but in the span of our 4 years, our class has been on state champion teams for speech and debate, mock trial, science bowl, math team, robotics, swim, softball, football, skiing, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, and esports. Many of my classmates have been fixated on GPA since before we even knew what it stood for. Our students are successful, and they are raised in an affluent town by parents who are also stereotypically highly successful by society's standards. Knowing my audience, it would be well received for me to stand up here and tell you some way to set yourself up for success and happiness, but frankly, that's BS. Knowing my audience, it is much more important that the last thing you hear before you graduate is permission and encouragement to fail. Now, describing a classic graduation speech that focuses, Describing a classic graduation speech that focuses on success and happiness as BS at a formal graduation ceremony is not typical, so let me explain. If your goal in life is to be happy and to epitomize the typical definition of successful, you're going to be very disappointed. Sure, there will be good periods of time in which you'll experience joy, but a life of happiness and success cannot be sustained. Inevitably, there are going to be things completely out of your control that get in the way. You do not find a happy life, you make it. Of course, you would make a happy life if you could, and as Mr. Lupien advised, but sometimes things are going to go wrong. Even if you do everything in your power for them to go right, you will receive poor test grades, you will fall short of making the team, you will be denied job positions or promotions, you will make mistakes in your relationships, you will hurt people, whether you mean to or not, you will lose money, you will lose clients, you will lose projects, you will lose trust, and sometimes you will lose people. You will fail. Just because we at CEHS are notoriously successful doesn't mean our class is unfamiliar with failure. Remember the runaways of middle school? But we are certain to face more of it as we leave high school. So, I have 3 points about failure for you to take away. 1, you don't deserve anything in life. You didn't deserve to get into that college, get accepted to that program, or land that job that you did. You didn't deserve the GPA that some of us have been so obsessed with. You didn't deserve to win a state championship. These are great accomplishments, don't get me wrong, but you didn't have a right to them. They weren't meant for you. When we think that we deserve something, we become irritated at other people's success. We start thinking, why not me? And that's not fair. And maybe it wasn't, but the thing is, life's not fair. If you understand that you don't deserve anything, then when you do fail, it's okay. Because life doesn't owe you anything. And when you succeed, by whatever definition you give success, you didn't deserve it, you earned it. That's point 1. 2, put yourself in a position to fail. Put yourself in a position to fail because that means you have stepped outside of your comfort zone. If you are constantly succeeding, the odds are that you're limiting yourself. Failure is a sign that you took a chance, and taking chances is what leads to change. Humans are biologically made for change. We're one of the most adaptive species. We aren't made for thinking the same way that people have for decades. We aren't necessarily made for working in the same career field our entire lives. It's okay to explore other things. If you want to do something you've never done before, you have to do things you've never done before. And that comes with a risk of failure. It's scary to go all in on something that is out of your comfort zone because it means accepting that failure is a possible outcome, but it is worth it. 3, say good. I just completed my senior transition project with the Cape Elizabeth Police Department, and on my first day, we watched a video of former Navy SEAL Jocko Willink speaking about this idea. The point is that in response to any situation that stinks, you have to just say good. With every failure, something good is going to come out of it. Get a bad grade? Good, more to learn. You don't make the team, you don't get the job you wanted? Good. Being denied an opportunity means you have more time to get better. If you can be right in the midst of an awful situation, not even on the other side, but right in the midst of it, and say, good, you still have some fight left in you. Without rain, there are no flowers. So, become a fan of dancing in the rain. Become a fan of failure. So much so that you can say, good. As you go off and leave the Cape bubble, you aren't guaranteed to be successful or happy all the time, but you are guaranteed to fail. I'm here to tell you, do not be afraid. Failure is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of growth, and that's a good thing. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Be okay with being humbled. Be accustomed to asking for help. Be honest when you are in the wrong. Get used to saying good. And fail over and over and over again. Farewell and fail well. Thank you.